Good afternoon, everyone. As usual, I'll be giving just 1 minute to allow you guys to come in before we start the business of the day. How have you guys been? How is everything moving? Those working at home, remotely, those in the office, hope everything is moving on smoothly. Today is a brand new day, brand new challenges, brand new expectation, brand new tasks. I hope everything will move smoothly as we anticipate it. Okay, like I said 1 minute ago, I'll be giving just a minute to allow you guys to come in. I think I'll just take it off from here, even as people keep joining us. Good afternoon once again and welcome. For those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Gagba Esahaya, and I am a training coordinator with the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple Small Business Development Center helps small business start and grow. We offer free one-on-one consulting and a variety of low to no cost webinars. We are proud to be part of the nationally accredited network of the Small Business Development Centers, which has over 1,000 networks across the United States. We're here this afternoon for a webinar on WordPress builders, choosing and using a website builder. A copy of the PowerPoint and a link to the recording will be sent to all the attendees. Being a webinar, all the attendees have been muted. However, we always encourage you guys to drop your questions on the Q&A or the chat box. Without further ado, please allow me to welcome our wonderful presenter, even as she takes over the floor for the presentation. Jane, you're welcome.
Hi everyone. Who here has been to one of my webinars before? Any second timers? So like Barbara mentioned, today we're going to talk about WordPress builders and how to choose one. A little bit about me. My name is Jane Clark. I'm the co-founder of BrandSwan. I've been doing web design for a long time, since the 90s, and we do have 12 First Place Awards, so you can trust me on all this information. We're going to talk about three main things. The first is the difference between themes and builders. We're going to talk about where to get them. We're going to compare the most popular builders, and we're going to do a demo of the Divi builder, which is my favorite. And it's probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular. So starting right into it. So what's the difference between a theme and a builder? So a theme is a collection of files that work together to create the way your website looks. So think your fonts and the colors and the layout and all of that stuff. So that is what a theme is. A builder allows you to design how a page looks, the flow of the content. It allows you to add buttons here, an image here. So think of like the MailChimp builder. If you've ever used MailChimp, it's a lot like that, but you can do a lot more with it. So that's the difference between a theme and a builder. And let's compare them. So the first thing you're really got to think about is price. Most builders have a yearly cost. A lot of builders do have a free version, but they do put in a lot of red stops, so you can't use some of their cool features. So I always recommend to get the pro, so you don't have that disappointing like, oh, I can't do that, darn. Anything cool, trust me, is definitely a pro feature, so expect to pay at least a yearly cost. Now typically you don't have to pay it yearly. You can buy it once and not auto renew it, but the downside to that is that it doesn't stay updated with WordPress. And WordPress, of course, is constantly updating, making sure everything's secure and working correctly, especially as technology keeps advancing. So if you don't do that yearly cost, you're going to get bugs, you're going to get glitches, you're going to get things not working or looking right. And so just do yourself a favor and get the pro if you're going to do a builder, especially if you hope to make money off the website, right? So the second thing after price, and just to give you an idea, you're looking between, $50 to $300 could be the cost of a theme or website builder. The second one is ease of use. So how easy is it for someone to get in there and build beautiful pages? Do you have to be a developer? Do you have to be super technologically savvy, or can anyone just get in and build it, right? So how easy is it to use? Number three, what models and features does it have? What widgets can you add? What does it do? And amazingly, And I'll show you some examples of what these builders can do, but you can add like bar charts and, you know, number counters and animations and accordion menus and all sorts of fun stuff, which we'll get into. Number 4, does it have support and does it have really good documentation? So how easy is it to find answers to your questions? I will say that Divi in particular has a really amazing resource library. And they also have video tutorials. So it's really easy if you get stuck to kind of follow along with them and, you know, solve your problem that way. Number 5, and this one is something to consider. Well, obviously they all should be considered, but number 5 is a big one. Lock-in. Lock-in means if you use a builder to build your whole website and then you turn that builder off, what does your website look like? Who here, and feel free to just put me in the channel if it is, who here has ever changed your theme or your builder and then noticed that your website's completely busted? Sometimes it has a gobbledygook or everything just looks awful. If that's happened to you, let me know. But yes, that is what lock-in is. So if you decide that you want to switch a theme or builder and you have to redo your whole site, it's going to get a lower lock-in rating. The cool thing about Divi is that it will be good for you forever. I mean, it's constantly being updated, and so longevity is actually one of the points I want to talk on. And I'm going to skip number 8 because I'm feeling crazy today. But longevity, how long has this theme and builder been around? Is it well supported? Is it constantly getting updated by the developers? All those things are super important. Number 6, resource use and site speed. This is probably the hardest thing I have when I'm talking to new clients. Who here remembers when hosting was like 20 bucks a year? I might be exaggerating on that one, but a super cheap hosting account, right? Well, as these sites become much more resource intensive, you're starting to really pay on an average about 145 a year to 180 bucks a year or more for a really good website with lots of memory. So if you're working on these builders and it's constantly locking up or it's really sluggish, then you know that you have to move your website to a better server or at least upgrade your account. There are some companies that I recommend not to use if you're using a builder, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. And last but not least, well, number 7, I'm skipping around here. How many sites are using the builder? So if you go to like the plugin section of WordPress and you do a search such as, you know, WordFence, you're going to see how many active installs that has. And usually they're millions of active installs. And when we have those big numbers, you know that's a really good software. So that's another indicator of what is a good builder and what isn't. Definitely look for those ratings. If you see anything under 3 stars, don't even use it. Actually, I say anything under 4 stars, don't use it. Unless there's really no options, and then good luck with that, right? So what builders are you guys thinking of using? Is anyone using a builder or thinking of one? I'll talk a little bit about that if I know something about it anyway. Let me know what you guys are using. What builder? All right, here's my little table I made for you guys. So the most popular WordPress builders. And again, this is what designs your pages, what makes them look nice. Here we go. We got some answers here. WordPress and Wix. Nimble. I have not heard of Nimble. Well, I might have. I just never used it. Beaver, definitely. We'll talk about Beaver. Wix, Divi. Divi, I love Divi. Wix. Okay, great. So let's start with my favorite. I'm full disclosure, I'm a Divi girl, but I've used all of these. Okay, so the price for Divi is a bit pricier than some of them. It's $89 a year. And in order to use Divi is created by something called Elegant Themes. And they had no idea Divi would be so amazing. So honestly, they get so many subscriptions now because of Divi. So if you pay $89 a year, you're going to get access to other plugins that they have, which are there's some really good stuff in there. Or if you just want Divi forever, you can buy the $250 lifetime. And honestly, and this is coming from someone who's bought collector's editions of video games that flopped. I do wish I'd gotten the Divi lifetime subscription. So I guess I still could, but I've certainly used it enough. So here we rate it on all those things. We have the ease of use, the features, the documentation, the lock-in. So let's talk about it. So the ease of use for Divi is really, really great. I would definitely argue that Elementor might be easier for non-developers to work with, or people who aren't familiar with, say, a wireframe. So once you understand what encompasses a website and all the elements, that I think Divi is easier to use. But if you're just trying to use a theme and edit those pages, then I would say Elementor might be slightly easier to use. Divi, a ton of features, all the support, the lock-in. Again, if you want to move away from Divi, you got to rebuild all your pages over again. But because you're using WordPress, right, that's okay. All that content still exists. You just have to build it in the different builder that comes with the theme. And what's really cool about Divi is they have hundreds of pre-made designs you can just start with and go, and they're really beautiful. There's 2.5 million active installs. This presentation might be a little bit old, like 3 months. I bet you that number has increased. Then you have Elementor, which is $40 a year, and this one's really popular. As you can see, it has 3 million active installs. And what's cool about it is that it's the theme and page builder and pop-up builder. So similar to Divi, they do have a theme, and they also have a builder. Now, you don't have to use the theme with their builder. So you could use just a Divi builder with a different theme. However, I will tell you, you will run into issues because some themes are meant to be made with builders. That's not the one you want to use. So what I would do, if you really like a certain builder, I would find themes based on that builder. And these guys make it really easy to kind of find those layouts. And if you are considering, let's say you don't know anything about web design, you have no desire to make your design look good, you just want to pick a design and go with it, any of these are okay with that. I would say you probably want to go with Divi or Elementor. If you're kind of experimenting, Elementor, again, a little bit less expensive. You might want to give that a go. And if you're really feeling like you want to take it to that next level, then jump ship to Divi. So Elementor, what is pretty good about it is that the lock-in is wonderful, which means that if you decide to change the builder or the theme, it's not going to make your site ugly. And by that, I mean, it's not going to leave behind a bunch of code that you have to remove by hand. So it makes it very easy to flip back and forth between different themes in case you wanted to kind of update the look of that. But both are very versatile. I mean, you can make these sites with these builders look like anything. And that's what's so great about these. So I've made so many websites with Divi, but they all look so different because, we have the power to do that. I like to think of these builders kind of like like body parts. Okay, this is a Frankenstein reference, guys, but imagine like all of these builders just parts, and you can put them together to be a whole human, a whole Frankenstein, and it becomes unique to that company and that brand. So that's what's really cool about this. WP Bakery Page Builder, not the best name for marketing. And they have changed their name. They used to call it Visual Composer, but it's basically the same product. It's $64 a year. It's not that easy to use. There are some limitations. It doesn't have a whole lot. It does have a lot of support. The lock-in is just as crappy as Divi. So if you lock in and you want to lock out, be prepared to redo a lot of stuff. And it's resource use and site speed. Now, I don't know. I would actually probably rate Divi a little bit higher on the resource use, but all of these guys really just suck up your usage because they can do so much cool stuff. So definitely invest in a better hosting company, and I will go through that in the list too. But Beaver, a lot of people use Beaver. It's very lightweight. It's very fast, and it has over 200,000 installs. Now, I realize that's certainly far away from the millions that you see on the others, but you got to start somewhere, right? People are saying really good things about it, so it could be the next Divi. Who knows? But yeah, it's well documented. The lock-in is great because you can move away from it without having to redo your site. But yeah, so any questions so far? Well, I actually saw some questions. And feel free, Small Biz Philly, you again. Hello. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm like, familiar faces. Let me start over, you guys. That's a lot of questions. Okay. Okay, so Hiroyo, hope I said that right. I might not have. If you buy the 250 lifetime for Divi, it will work for WordPress release updates. So it'll keep giving you updates for life. So you don't have to worry about that. You'll always be in sync with the latest WordPress so long as they make the update. You're good to go. Tracy, there's feedback hard to hear. Is other people experiencing that from my mic as well? Let me know how my mic sounds, guys. Okay. Good.
It's perfect.
Okay. What's the best builder for a blog news site? All right, that's a tough one. Geez. A blog news site. I would say WordPress. It started out as like a blog type. WordPress, and honestly, I would say if you wanted to look a certain way and have a cool layout, like on the blog page, I would use Divi. Otherwise, it's more of a theme thing than a builder thing because it's dynamic content and it just kind of puts it where you tell it to go. I'm sorry if that doesn't answer your question. How does Wix compare to this? Well, Wix is a great online builder, and there actually is a seminar I do about the different platforms. So WordPress is a content management system. I kind of consider it like a custom one because you can do and build anything on top of it. Wix uses its own proprietary software, and Wix tends to be good for larger websites. It has good like file structure. I would say if you're looking for a really nice sleek design, Wix might not be the company for you, but if you really like how the builder works and you like the themes that it has, then definitely go for it. But that's a good indicator of what your end product will look like. Take a look at their layouts that you can use, and if you don't like any of them, then Wix might not be the place for you. But there are others out there like Squarespace. But yeah, either one of those two is good. Should small businesses build their own site or pay someone to do so? Jeff, that's a big question. Obviously, I want your money, so thank you for that. Honestly, I would say it depends on the industry that you're in and the budget that you have. So let's say you're a real estate agent, for example. Having someone paying someone to make a website for you is probably not the best, because when you work for a brokerage, sometimes they provide that for you, and then you can spend your money on branding and separating yourself from others in your industry. If you're in an industry where your website has to look awesome and you want it to be more of a personal assistant where it does stuff for you, like for example, our website, leads come in, it connects to my CRM, it goes right into my lead captures and it books appointment for me, and like it just does so, it sells products. So it really depends on how much you need your website for and the impact of that. But if you're a new company, I almost always say start with branding first, and then you can do a simple website like with Wix or Squarespace, and then when you're really ready to like step it up, then you can build your website more thoughtfully. And either you do it or hire a professional if you have goals you want to meet. I would think of it more of a goal-oriented thing rather than just having a website for the sake of having a website. But I would say if you don't want to DIY it, then pay someone else to do it, be my recommendation. Is there a builder that's optimal for a healthcare business? Corey, yes. I actually lost a client recently. I mean, of course, on great terms, because they went with a site that integrated with their software that they use for their client or their patient. So yes, so I would take a look at some of those and see if those tools can be beneficial for you. I also have clients who don't have their website connected to that. But if you want someone, for example, to be able to fill out a patient form and have that automatically enter your internal system, that's really awesome. And you should definitely look for a company that supports that. So just think about, what the ultimate experience is, and then find the solution from there. But yeah, I would say not all websites, you don't want to go to, for your industry, not all industries should go after industry-specific websites. For example, landscaping companies. If you go to a company that just does landscaping companies, you're going to find that you look a lot like other landscaping companies, right? But if you want to stand out and have your own brand, using a company that doesn't just specialize in that can give you an edge. Francis, I'm going to say my brain specifically found Divi to work, Divi easier to use in Elementor, but it could be because I learned Divi first. So I would say Elementor is definitely easy to use. A lot of my team prefers it. So I'm going to say yes, but not based on my personal experience. All right, here we go. Small Philly, I think I answered your question. Hannon, how do you bring in leads to your site? It's a good question. Marketing. A little bit of SEO and also integration with my CRM. So I have forms that people fill out and it goes into my system, but that's a longer question. I unfortunately don't have time to answer, but if you contact me, I can definitely help you with that. Okay, great questions, guys. All right, I take one last question for this round. Diane, if you want to do a childcare business, which should you use? I'm going to say maybe Squarespace. If you have a small budget, then I would check out Squarespace. It has there's a lot of trust in it, so I would do that. Okay, how to pick? Gosh, you guys are ahead of the game here. Okay, so this one's my favorite. But yes, so I hope all of those answers kind of help you pick which one. So for the Divi theme, it's really full package. It has a theme and it has a builder, and you can use the builder with another theme, but just keep in mind that that theme might have a builder and then it doesn't work very well. So, so think about that. It has a massive collection of, beautiful pre-made layouts. It's got dynamic content modules, and you're like, what the heck does that mean? And a dynamic content module, think of it like, let's say you have a place where you keep all your testimonials. You can go ahead and pull those testimonials into one section of your site. So that would be an example of a dynamic content module. So you can put that module on all sorts of different pages because it pulls from this information here. Very similar to how a blog operates. You put your posts here and then it can automatically put in your most recent post by category. So that's the dynamic aspect I'm talking about. I think it's fantastic for beginners because it really is plug and play. You know, you can just pick a theme and go nuts on it. But I will say there are a couple cons. I hate to admit it, but first of all, you can't not buy it unless it's with Elegant Themes. So you do have an Elegant Theme subscription every year to use the Divi theme unless you do the lifetime. And I will say it needs a fast serve with lots of resources, or you're not going to like it. It's going to be slow. It's going to be weird, and it's just don't do it. I'm going to come back to here and show you guys a really cool demo soon. So Elementor. What people say about this one, it's fast, it's glitch free. The UI is really easy to use. It does have flexible style options. It definitely rivals Divi with the premium version. So Divi, by the way, doesn't have a free version, and that might be one of the downsides to it. But I'm like, go, just commit, just do it. But yes, you can take a look at more Elementor. You are getting this presentation, by the way, guys. You can click on all of these and find the one that best works for you. I've also included feature lists. So in this case, you can see I've added all the links. So you can take a look and see if this is really what you're looking for. You have your essential, of course, they want you on the expert plan, of course, but the agency plan, honestly, like if you're just a one-man show and you're building a one website, you're probably spending $50 a month for the builder. But yes, and you can see some demos in this as well. Beaver Builder. All right, so it doesn't offer as many design options. That's one of the things, but it's very clean. It's very stable. Very reliable interface. And honestly, it's for people who don't want to do a whole lot with their website. This is a great choice. It's fast, lightweight. I think it's the biggest pros. Cons, again, doesn't have a whole lot of design options. So if you're not up to designing it yourself, then this might not be as plug and play. And it doesn't release its new features as often. So it's not like super exciting. It's just sort of like a very minimalist solution. But again, that's all some people really need. WP Bakery Page Builder. So this is their claim to fame was being on something called themeforest.com. Anyone hear that? ThemeForest is a pretty amazing directory of just WordPress themes and website themes, and not just WordPress, but themes galore. And so many WordPress sites used like those themes, use this builder as part of their package. So it automatically came packaged with these themes, and that's why it was so popular. And the prices are very reasonable. So you can pick a lot of pre-built templates. Themeforest.com is a really great resource. What I will say though is that if you do use themeforest.com for WordPress, make sure you install a security plugin, because they're so popular that there are just bots that just go trying to scour and just, you know, pick out vulnerabilities. So make sure you have something called Loganizer installed. This will, it's a WordPress plugin. This will at least stop it from trying to like keep accessing your site. So that would help you a little bit for that. Again, there's a demo here too. We can check it out. You just have to fill out your information and it will let you play around with that. So again, feel free to try this demo and see if it's a good fit for you. Let me answer a couple of questions. Yes, the slides will be available for download. Wix, do they offer payment making option? You can, I think they do. It's probably an integration. You know, they work with Square or someone else. Once you decide to add that on as like your, you know, pay for that service, then they'll walk you through how to set that up most likely. They'll let you know what the next steps are. Okay. I see the website. Jeff, I'm not sure what you want me to do with it. Let me know if you want me to take a look at it. Okay, insert live. How do I contact you? Hannon, I will leave my information in the chat, and it's also in the presentation. Deb says, if you have an existing website and want to go to Divi and one of their themes, how easy is the transition? Well, that depends on a lot. If you already have a WordPress site, then you know you're at least starting from something. But I find it best to just do the switch, because a lot of times you don't really want what's on your current website. That's where you're changing it. So doing it fresh has a lot of benefits too, but you will be redoing it, especially if you're coming from like Wix to WordPress, because Wix has, again, that proprietary software that only it can use. So you can't just move your site. With WordPress, if you decide you don't like your theme or you're not happy with your designer, you can move without having to start over. And that's what's so great about WordPress, and it can really grow with you. Okay. All right, cool. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the host. And at the end of this, we're going to do a Divi tutorial. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so my top 5 hosting companies. SiteGround, number 1. I just love this one. It's fast. Their support is wonderful. And you can chat. You don't have to talk to anybody, which is my favorite thing to do as an introvert. And they have a free SSL certificate, and that's great. Flywheel, Media Temple, InMotion, DreamHost, all of these are really good hosts. For those of you on GoDaddy, I'm going to tell you, GoDaddy is trying to adopt the new technology. I'm not happy with the price point, and I'm not happy with the service, and I'm not happy with the resources. So I just found they were just a little too late to get on the wagon. And if you're using the builder, you can't move your website. But if you have a managed WordPress, I think they're better. So if you have a managed WordPress and you're not having any issues with it, then keep on keeping on. Bluehost, I don't care for, but this might be old information, but I recall them not having an upgrade. So they had like their hosting account, and this is what it was, and they couldn't give you more resources. So their answer was, we'll scale back your website. And I thought that hurt, you know, innovation. So I decided I was just gonna, you know, not use them anymore. Tina, thank you for your top 5 for hosting. What is your choice based on? SiteGround is my choice because I actually use that for all of our websites. And that's just my favorite one. These other ones, the reason why I picked them is because they are compatible with Divi. Divi really recommends them for their builder, and thus it's going to be plenty of resources for other builders that you use. So I would say these are the companies that give you a decent amount of resources with the basic package would be the reason why I like these. I've used Media Temple, InMotion, DreamHost, and I didn't use Flywheel myself, but a client did, and I didn't have a whole lot of experience with it. I didn't have a problem, and no news is good news, as you like to say. Hope that answered your question. All right, so which comes first, the theme or the builder? Tough one, right? So here's where I would start, guys. I would pick the features that you want, that you love, and pick that builder or theme that excels at those. And I would say step 1 is just looking at websites and seeing what you like and finding the patterns and commonalities and being like, it looks like I really like these menu styles, or, find what you want and the features that you have. So let's say you definitely want to have a booking feature. Well, what feature is that? Does it integrate the current system? Does it have a WordPress plugin? So you start going down the rabbit hole as you try to integrate all these systems. But because WordPress is so popular, guys, it has a lot of integrations. And the more popular the system is, so for example, let's say something like Calendly, that is probably, that can probably integrate with a lot of different builders, probably Wix, probably Squarespace, definitely WordPress. So you'd be surprised at these integrations and what they can do. There's also something called Zapier that I haven't quite dove into myself. My business partner did, and that allows you to kind of make things integrate with each other that wouldn't normally work, but that's a little bit above my technical prowess, but it does exist. So I have fun with that. But yeah, start with the features that you want. If capturing leads is what you want to do, then how can you facilitate that? Do you have perhaps articles or white papers or freebies that you can get their name and email to download, and then they get those, So just think about what that process might look like to get them into the funnel. All right, let's talk about where to find themes. I'm going to go ahead and open up these. Boop. So with Divi, there's a lot of layouts you can pick from. And it's interesting because Divi's been around a while now, many years, and you can see how simple the websites start out. And then as you get further and further down, they start getting more and more animated and moving and just more interesting in their designs. So if I were to pick this one, for example, you can see the different layouts that it gives you, and really cool things like the shapes. And then down here, you can view a live demo, and it will show you what these sites actually look like. And if you reduce your monitor and you make it smaller, it'll show you the responsive, the mobile-friendly version of that site. So you can really see how it looked like on a tablet, what the navigation might look like. It's pretty cool. So you can look here for inspiration, and if you love these layouts, then definitely consider Divi. Moving on to this is Envato Market. I love this one. This you can look for all sorts of themes. Let's just go to WordPress to make this easy. And it shows you. Now you would have to buy these themes. WordPress does have free themes in its own library, but they're not that great, and they're so popular that you'll look like everyone else if you pick one. So this is more for people who want like their own theme. They really want to attempt to kind of match their brand with us. So take a look at some of these. This looks like you're anywhere between 20 to $100 most likely. But when you visit this, and again, you'll have these links, you can actually view this live just like Divi, and you can see how these interact. So if you like the look of this, then you know that you're going to like the end product. So if you're not super technical, I wouldn't pick a theme that you're going to want to heavily modify. But you can always get rid of things. So if for some reason you didn't like the way this product layout was, you don't have to use this version, you can use a different version of it that's presented here. So obviously this one is mostly used for e-commerce. So if you're not doing an e-commerce store, maybe don't pick an e-commerce heavy theme. So think about the content as well that you're going to have. And there is one more. Okay, this one's on Creative Market, which is another great company. And these are also, you can pay for these themes as well. If you have more of a magazine one, you can pick one. There's also news heavy ones too. Click on this one. So this one is really great if you have a lot to feature. You can pick that. So you can put all sorts of stuff here. Yeah, so there's lots of places to find themes, even outside of this. Just make sure you're picking themes based on the platform that you're using, WordPress, for example. If you want a theme for Squarespace or Wix, you're actually going to be looking directly on their theme on their websites. They have a list for you. So you wouldn't want to go outside of that because they wouldn't be compatible. Tina, you had some great questions, so I want to clarify that. What options do we have to play with themes and features before we have to pay for it? Got it. There's a lot of, let me see here. Some builders other than Divi do have a free version you can play around with. And sometimes themes have demos. But I would say, one second. What options do we have? Okay, answer that question. So I would have to pay for the builder and the theme. Yes. So they can work outside each other, and you don't even have to use the builder that comes with the theme. WordPress in itself is a builder, so you don't have to buy a builder, but if you want a good one, I would suggest doing it. To give you an indication, WordPress came out with what they call like Gutenberg blocks, and there are millions and millions of installs to revert back to the classic style to get rid of that. Because a lot of developers just don't want to use it because it's new, it has limitations. So if you're happy using it, you can stick with it, especially if you're doing something simple. There's a lot of builder themes out there that use the WordPress builder, and you don't need anything else. But if you want something, I'm going to call it premium for lack of a better word, but you want like a premium theme that that most people don't have access to unless they pay for it specifically, it helps you look just a bit more unique and can do a lot more cooler stuff. So that's completely up to you and how you want to handle that. There are free themes and free builders out there. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. All right, keep going here. Yeah, so these are 3 good themes, and there are more. So you can test drive these. You can use the demos and just look at the site. And that's really how you know if you like a theme or not. And luckily, a lot of the times when you do buy a theme, they let you download the demo content. So everything you see here, they'll automatically import it for you. So you can start from there instead of start from nothing. So there are some good things about buying a theme. Okay, so I think I mentioned this before, but I want to extend this also to themes. But make sure themes are highly rated and haven't been abandoned. And WordPress will let you know if something's been abandoned. It'll say, hey, this hasn't been updated in years. Do you really want to use this? And expect to pay the theme price every year because, and the paid plugins that come with it. That's one little trap they get you in. They add these premium plugins to the theme, and then you have to kind of keep them up every year. And most of the time, it's things like builders or slideshow software, stuff like that. But you have at least a year free, and then you can decide to upgrade and keep getting those updates to keep it in sync. And that's really just going to be depending on the builder and the developer there. All right, let me ask more questions. I think into that. Okay. Done. Any more questions? All right. Okay. My favorite part, the Divi theme and builder demo. All right. So if you click on this, you're going to get Divi's demo. And you can start building right away. But before I show you this, I want to show you the sites and how they work. So let's talk about the theme versus the builder. I'm going to use my website as an example. So the theme is the colors. It's a little bit of the layout. It's the font sizes. And then the actual builder determines like columns and the way pages are laid out. The animations is a theme thing. So Divi can work with all sorts of animations. This is a custom animation I did, but the feathers coming in and moving, that's a Divi thing. So you can really do some fun stuff with it. I kind of want to show you around, but all right, so look here. If we're in the Divi builder, and again, you'll have access to this, guys, you can just click and start typing. And changing all of this to say whatever it is you want. Copy and paste content, change the button. And the cogwheel here, let me go ahead and dock this. So I can make this button say anything I want. You can link it to a URL. And the cool thing is that if you click on the dynamic content module, you can choose to link it to a page, and then you can choose the page to link it to. So no matter what, whether you rename that page or change the permalink on that page, it will always link to that page because we added that feature. You can also choose to open up in a new window or not. Now you can change the design of all these things. So that's what's so fun. So if you wanted to change the button, look at all the stuff you can do with the button. It can be a little overwhelming, but if you start with a layout and you just start modifying that to be what you want, it's not so intimidating. And you can load in layouts at any point. So if I were to go back to my website real fast and enable the visual builder, hopefully don't crash my browser by having too many builders open everywhere. Cross your fingers for me, guys, because I've done it before. Too many browsers. You can hide things. So look at all these messages I have up here that you don't see, and that's because I've hidden them until I'm ready to show them again. So there's lots of cool stuff you can do here. Images, you can edit them and change them out, of course. Now this is hidden because I actually designed a section just for the mobile phone, because it wouldn't look good if you had like text, image, image, text, text, image. It just wouldn't look good if it's all in a row. So that's why I did this one. So it looked a little bit better. These small movements here are theme based. You can change the background, change the text. And what I love about these builders, and Divi especially, is that if you want to change the columns at any point, you can. Look at this. These are all the column layouts I can pick. Isn't that crazy? I can make it look like this if I wanted. And you can click, drag, and drop stuff. Put it where you want. So this is how easy this is to use, guys. I love that. And at any point, you can change the columns. And what I love about the column thing, well, because I was designing websites in the 90s, you know, we just had like, we didn't have 2 column layouts, guys. So the fact that you can do this on the fly is just amazing to me. So, and if you mess up and you're like, oh no, you can just Control Z and back up until it's back the way it wanted. You know, you have different versions you can restore back to. You can load in full designs. So if I was like, you know what, this is boring. You guys want to see the theme that I used to build this? I don't know if you'll recognize it, but it's this one right here. This is the theme I started with to build the site. Give it a second. I like how it goes backwards. I was like, wait a second, we're losing. I might have worn out, guys. I knew this would happen. I got too many tabs. Let me go back to this one real fast. Yeah, it's syncing. Here it is. Cool. So this is actually the template I started with. You won't recognize it because we changed all the text, all the colors we added. But if you see here, you see these squares, that's where the birds are and the feathers are. It's amazing what different fonts and colors will do to completely change a layout. Now, going back to what you said, Phil, is that the blog here, you can see it has its own blog page. So it has a little header here. You can add content and like the latest articles, and then here you can categorize it. Here's your little call to action down here, join our newsletter, and here's a footer. I just love, having footers that are a little bit different than just the usual, with more intention. It just puts your best foot forward and shows that you give that same amount of attention to them with whatever you're providing them, be it a service or whatever. But yeah, so here it is. This is what I use to build my site. And you can completely change everything. To give you an idea of what this page looks like, I'm going to open up one more thing here. And the cool thing is that you can load as many layouts as you want into one layout. So sometimes I create, again, Frankenstein layouts that might be 3 or 4 themes combined to make an original one. So here is that part of the theme that I showed you where you can customize it, right? It's the same thing, but it looks so different because of the colors and the customizations we've done to it. Close some of the stuff here. Let's talk about some of the cooler things you can do. You can actually change what your header looks like. Now, I have a lot of content on my website because I have it doing a lot of stuff from directories and all sorts of stuff. So your WordPress isn't going to look this scary, I promise. So what we can do is we can come here to our Divi options. And what I love about this is it allows you to pick your color palette, and then that color palette will follow you through every single page, so you can quickly pick colors instead of having to manually add them every time. Custom CSS, if that's something you want, lots of options here. You can add your Google Analytics right here. It integrates with so many other plugins with Yoast, WooCommerce if you're selling stuff. But the theme customizer is one of my favorite parts. Comfy in my chair here. You can choose your header navigation, and you can also even add a secondary navigation if you wanted to. You can make your menu full width. You can change all the fonts and colors, which I love. You can add all sorts of fun stuff to your website, like a search bar if you wanted. And there's also a lot of custom stuff made for this builder, so you can really just go to town. Where is, I'm looking for something, the style, header format, here we go. So you can have your logo left if you want, you can have it centered and it puts the navigation underneath here. You can do centered in line. Now, obviously this doesn't look so good because I've coded this to look very specific, so it's not really showing you a centered version of it, but if you didn't have as much code as I did, it would look centered. And you can do a slide in, which is fun, which is like this menu here. You click on it and then the menu appears. And full screen, where you click the menu and then you get something all to yourself. Again, it's working a little wonky because I've custom coded this a little bit. But those are just the header options you can pick. And I just think that's super cool. And you can, my gosh, I'm like, where do I start? You can set all this stuff immediately, like your button styles, so that way it goes global. This is similar to how you would do any theme in WordPress. What makes it Divi specific, I think, is more so the builder. And I'm going to go back to that real fast. So here's all the cool stuff you can add. Accordion menus. These are the ones where you open one, it closes the other. I might need to save it, but that would ruin my website, wouldn't it? You can duplicate things, very easy. Countdown timers. That's fun if you're going to launch something. Like releasing a book or something. You can add a contact form right here. And customize how that looks. Even add CAPTCHAs. Bar counters, this is great for something. Just showing data. And all this stuff can animate. And this will animate upon preview. It's really cool. Blurbs, where you can actually pick an icon to go along with it, or an image. But if you use an icon, you can pick, and you can even add more icons if you really wanted. And you can see how this looks. So if you wanted it on the left, you could, instead of the right. So there's lots of fun stuff here. And don't forget the columns. So you're like, you know what? I want more than one column here. You can do that right up here. 6 columns. Let's do it. And then you can just drag and drop your content. Obviously, 6 columns probably isn't the best look for this, but you get the gist. So I think this builder just gives you so much flexibility to just add your content, to duplicate it, to just build pages so quickly. Does anyone have any questions about the Divi builder and specifically maybe about its capabilities or ideas that you have? It doesn't do everything, but it really does just do the job. All right, let me see here. I got a question. I've been using Vistaprint for years. I want to upgrade. I didn't know you can do websites on Vistaprint. Interesting. Yeah, why don't you just give me a call and I'll walk you through it. The best part is just, again, what you're trying to accomplish. Are you selling products? You just want like people to book through your website? Let me know what you're looking for and then I can guide you on that right path. But yeah. Hiroyo, I hope I've been saying that right. Do you recommend you start with a pre-made layout in Divi? Yes. Because I'm lazy. And I think it's easier to start from something than nothing. So if you see a theme that has cool animations or you like the font style or anything about it, you can go ahead and just start there and then edit. Similar to what we did with the upholstery design. And another one that kind of looks like the upholstery design would be my service pages real fast. I'm curious if you recognize it. Let me go here. So notice here, this is the heading that you saw at the upholstery, but I've shortened it and so it looks different. But that is the upholstery layout. So if you like the layouts, start with that. Everything can be customized. But yeah, I really like the movement of this one too. Okay. Okay, I think I answered that question. Any other questions?
Jen, even as
Yes.
we wait for further questions, I just wanted to draw the attention of our wonderful attendees. I just posted a 30-second survey about today's webinar. Please, remember we at Tempo SPDC, we always cherish your feedbacks, even as it helps us to improve on the services we provide to you guys at no cost. So kindly take 30 seconds of your time to help us to fill out the survey link. Thank you.
And that's my email, guys. If you want to talk to me, feel free. And here's my website. You can reach me there too. Any other questions? We have a few minutes. We have 5 actually.
Yeah.
I always hit it pretty close. Always depends. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. M and where? I'm not sure I understand your question. Is what?
I think the person is trying to ask the contact info. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see it above where you did you see it there? Above your question, MN? That's my email address, and that is my website. Oh, I know why.
Okay,
Nice.
just give me a sec. Let me.
It's me. It's me.
Okay, because I was trying to
I'm
see.
messaging myself doesn't help anyone.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Sorry, guys. And also that plugin I mentioned earlier, if you're going to work in WordPress and you want to kind of get secure, is Loginizer. Yeah. Okay. Well, but Victoria, that's a big question. I think again, it depends on what your goals are. Are you trying to show off a lot of photos? Are you trying to get leads? Yeah, reach out and I can, guide you. And if you go to my website, you'll see the stuff we offer. So, yeah, I hope I hear from you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay. Before we wrap it up, just want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you guys for keeping it a day with us. Jane, thank you for a wonderful presentation. And also to my wonderful Tempo SPDC colleague, thank you guys for taking your time, making it possible for this webinar to come into existence.
Thank you.
Without further ado, I think we'll just call it a day. Thank you, and do enjoy the rest of the day.
Bye, guys.